Okay. So I'm looking, people to be more proactive. Okay. So what does the proactive means? Whenever I'm asking a question, you have to say an answer for that. Yes, no, I don't know, I have no idea, something, right? Because she does the from previous batches, I get a lot of complaints from management that candidates are not proactive, they are not responding well. So I don't want that. Okay. You have to respond. The reason, because not here, okay, it's okay. If you don't want to respond, it's fine. But at work, at job, if you're not responding, that is, they're taking as you don't have any calm skills. Does it make sense? If you're not responding at work, right? If your boss asks you something and you're not responding, that means you don't have communication skills. Okay, so keep that in mind. And I want everyone to be proactive. Anyone doesn't know, just let them know that I'm looking more into proactive. Okay, that means if anyone have any questions, yeah, okay, it's okay, you can ask a question, but when I ask a question, you have to answer that with either yes, no, I don't know, I have no idea, or some examples. Okay, so that's how you have to be. Okay, you have to be more proactive. Okay, so I hope everyone got syllabus.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, it's good, it's good. Yeah, so that's how you have to be, right? You have to be, that's what I'm expecting from you guys. Okay, when I ask a question, you have to answer that. Okay, so let's go, let's see here. Okay, that's good. That's how you have to work on it. Even if you don't know, you have to learn. Okay, you have to learn from someone, looking at how the people are doing. You have to learn from it. Okay, so that's how you have to do. Okay, so let's go pretty quick here. We have less time. So for first today and tomorrow, that's we'll go through various types of testing. Okay, this is kind of introduction. We'll learn various types of testing. Why do we want this testing, and how those things will be learning by today and tomorrow. So tomorrow's class is very important. Make sure you attend it. Why? Because we will be testing how to find a bug in an application. Okay, I'll be giving you an example of a web application. So here we'll be more interested in web applications. Okay, so we'll see how to find out a bug, and I'll be giving you homework. Make sure you guys do the homework. Homework is very important. Not for me. You're not doing for me. Okay, it's for you, right? How you understand the problem is very important. So that's what it is. Okay, so you want to see how many bugs you're able to take in an application. There are so many bugs. Okay, some people are previous batches, some people really did good. They even found out some text which has some issue. That means there's a repeated text there. So some people really did very well. So I'm expecting the same thing to continue. So you guys also need to concentrate on that. So tomorrow we'll talk about how to take a bug and how to find out. First, we need to find the bugs in the application. So we'll talk about that tomorrow's class. Next, we'll go third and fourth class. We'll talk about this Rally tool. So Rally, what exactly is this Rally? Rally is a test management tool. Okay, so what I'll do is, guess what? I'll be giving you access for this tool. Okay, you have good access, and just make sure you don't want to delete anything. Okay, don't delete anything. That's not your job. You're a tester. Okay, even you don't want to know. Only thing you can delete is your test cases, not someone else's work. Okay, you have to remember that. What happened, right? Previously, let me tell you about how previous batches. I told first time not to delete anything. Okay, even if you are missed your test cases, don't worry about it. Move ahead, start a new one. I told them. They deleted the user study. Okay. Now again, second time I told them not to delete it. They did it again, right? Now fourth time, I told them that See, this is the problem, that there are homeworks, the people have to do homeworks, don't delete it, and they did it again. So make sure what you want to do, because if you are doing that same thing again and again, even after telling that, now that is something which I cannot help. Okay, because at work you're not supposed to delete anything, right? You're not supposed to delete anything. Okay, let's see here. So I'll be giving you access on this. Not today. This will be mostly on third class. Make sure you don't delete anything. So there's a lot of work here. A lot of people do some work here. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, so there's a lot of work going on, so you don't want to mess up someone else's work. Okay, that's how you want to remember when you are working there. Okay, so we'll talk about this in detail. Okay, and then SharePoint. So we'll just hold on to that. We'll discuss this SharePoint actually. Fifth class, we'll discuss about various documents. What are the various documents? We'll go through each and everything, and I'll be giving an example of this document, and also I'll be giving you access to this Google Drive so that you can view those documents by yourself and look at how these documents look like. You want to see these documents, right? Talking is not enough. You want to look into it, how this requirement looks like, how this FRD document looks like, how this SRS. So all this you want to look at. You need to know beforehand, right? Because if you're working there, they're expecting that you already know, and they are expecting something from you. Okay, so that's the reason you need to know all this beforehand. So you cannot just if you don't know here, now when you go to the work, you ask them what is this. No, this doesn't look good, right? So you have to know all this. So I'll be giving you access for this, and we'll be having this document. Okay, so and then we'll talk about the SDLC. So SDLC is Software Development Lifecycle. Okay. Now this is a framework. Okay, this is a framework. This is not a tool. Okay, somebody, some guy told me, hey, why don't you give me access to SDLC? No, this is not a tool. This is not a software. This is a framework. It's a process. Okay, that means you are in a system and there's a framework how to move with that system. So it's kind of framework. Okay, so this is not something to give access or something like that. This is a theoretical point of view. Although it's decided by the management, you need to know, because you're in the system, right? You need to know how this works, right? So that's it. That's about SDLC. And similarly, you have STLC and bug lifecycle. Okay, so we'll talk various types of methodologies, and we'll go through that. So that will be on 5th class, and then you'll go to 6th class. I'll take completely on agile. So you want to know what the agile is all about, and what's the methodology, agile methodology. Scrum, we'll talk about more into Scrum. Okay, agile is pretty big. Okay, someone asks you what methodology are you working on, you say agile. That's fine, but agile has so many sub levels, right? There's a Scrum, there is a Kanban. Okay, there is RAD, rapid application development, then extreme programming. So all these are part of the agile. It's not necessary that you have to know all of this, but it's kind of, if you know one, it's similar to others. Okay, so one is good. Okay, one is good, but you get to know once you know Scrum. So Scrum is more famous. The other processes are similar to that. Not same. I don't say same because things are really different. The way you manage is different, but process is similar. Okay. So we'll talk about this on 6th class, and 7th we'll go to one more test management tool, that is Jira. And again, I'll be giving you access with this. Make sure you don't delete anything again here. Okay. Let's see here. Let's see if it's good. Okay, great. You know what? I'll be giving you access for this, so no worries. Okay. You can create your test cases. I'm not expecting user stories, but of course it's up to you. If you want to create, you can go ahead, because if you want to go as a business analyst, you can also create your own user stories. Okay. Now we'll go to, that's about, again, one more test management tool, that is HPALM. This is from HP. Okay, these are all from different companies. Okay, RAD is from different, Jira is from different. HP is from Hewlett Packard, Jira is from Atlassian, and Rally is from CA Technologies. Okay, so all different. But all this, all these tools perform the similar work. Okay, the process remains same. What's the process? Process is like creating test cases, executing your test cases, and reporting defects to the developer. And all those things remain in any test management tool, no matter what test management tool you're using. It will be similar. Okay? It will be similar. So this is just to get an idea for you, so that you'll be able to have some information or something to talk about. Okay, you just somebody asks a question, you don't want to be silent, right? You will have some information. Okay, yeah, I know this. You know what? I used to use this requirements module. A lot of here you don't have user stories requirements, and I used to use this requirements, and I used to write my test cases in test now. So you'll have something to talk about. Okay, so that's the point of doing too many test management tools. Okay. So next you have this, we go to one introduction class, that is QTP, Quick Test Professional, and so this is an automation.
Hi Manu, sorry to disturb the class. There are, as I told you, there are around 4 candidates sitting in class and attending the class also. Please consider the note also, okay? Because I think they might have some doubts to ask in between the class.
Yeah, sure. So, so you're saying like other people will be joining?
Yeah, there are 4 candidates.
Sure. I mean, you can forward the link. Okay. It needs to.
Yeah, they are attending the class.
No, they already joined in the class.
Okay, great. So yeah, you just forward the link, because I don't have email ID. So I do have some of them. I forward it. So if they don't have, you can forward it. Okay, so no issues. And you don't really require registration for this. I hope nobody requires any registration, right? So log in,
okay.
Put it username, and maybe you just have. There is no login registration, so no restriction. So you can have it. Okay.
Thank you.
Any more questions? Okay, so that's how the QTP. Okay, QTP will be. So QTP is, there's no more QTP. It's actually UFT, Unified Functional Testing. Okay, but we'll get to learn something and see how the automation. So this is the automation part. So far we'll be dealing with manual. That means everything you'll be doing manually. Okay, clicking buttons and identifying these bugs, and all this we'll be doing in manual. But QTP is automated. Okay. All the test cases are automated, and we'll go through this. Okay, we'll just see how it works out. And this is one class to understand the process, so that sometimes the requirements comes both, like QTP 20%, manual 80%, 50%, 50%. Okay. So sometimes the requirements come. In that case, you want to know this QTP. And 10th class will just see this certification. Okay, now this is free. Okay, this certification is free. Try to do it. Okay, the good thing is to put in your resume that you're certified from, maybe just put in your resume, and and this is free. Okay, you don't have to worry about at this point of time for ISQB and all those certifications. But yes, if you want to proceed with that, you can do it. But to start with, you can go for this certification. Okay, this is free. You don't have to, just take some time of yours, and it's online, and just sit where you want, and you can do it. Except for internet bill, you have to pay your internet bill. Except for that, it's free. Okay, you can get this certificate. So, to start with, this is really not big as ISQB or something, but you'll get some idea, right? You'll get some idea, and you can proceed with higher levels. Okay. So actually, I'll be giving this homework in between, actually, probably in this Friday, this week or something. But if people who were not able to complete it, we'll discuss this and see how it can. Okay, any questions so far?
No.
yeah, if yeah, I understand some people don't want to say you can ping it. Okay, yes, no, that should be easy for pinging it. That should be good. Okay, so you can also ping. So
You could reduce a little bit speed of talking. Slow down, yeah. The voice is not audible.
okay, so I guess that was not for me. So I'll just muting this. If anyone has any questions, you can. Okay, you can unmute it and and you can go ahead. Okay.
Now he would able to.
Okay, so some people. So does everyone able to hear it? Or a few of them. So let me try. Is everyone can able to hear it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So let me try this. Okay, great. So if you are here, that's good. That's good. Okay. So now, so we go to this. Okay. We'll start with this. Here. So now we'll talk about these various types of testing. Okay. So we'll start with black box testing. Okay. So what is this black box testing? So in this black box testing, okay, tests are based on requirements and functionalities. Okay. Here, this is black box testing. Is internal system design is not considered in this. Okay, so that means black box testing is done by the testers. Okay, black box testing is done by the testers and not by the programmers. Okay, and this black box testing is pretty high level. Okay, so it's kind of right. Let's say your boss. Let's say you're going to the project and your boss says, okay, did you complete your black box testing? Okay, now first thing is, that's really not an appropriate question for a tester, but that's how you get. Okay, that's how you have to manage those questions. So what you want to say is black box testing is a high-level testing, done by the testers, but it is at a team level. Okay, it's at the team level. Why? Because black box testing has various sub-functionalities like system testing, functional testing, and all other testing. That includes black box testing. Okay, just not one testing to say, okay, I've completed. So that question would be appropriate for the lead because lead also manages, right? Sometimes so. So that's the reason. Okay, black box testing is high-level testing done by the testers and not by the programmers because it's not. It's based on requirements and functionality. So we'll see about what is requirements and functionality. So let's see here what is the functionality exactly. And so we'll just go to google.com website. So here, if you see here, this is whatever you see here, everything is a functionality. Let's say here, this button, no, it's not exactly, but this is URL. Okay, this URL is store. All these URLs, okay, and these apps, Google Apps. So these are all functionalities. Okay, these are all functionalities. Whatever you see here. So this is account, functionality, notification. See, all these are functionalities. Okay, and this image, you see this image. This is all functionalities. Okay, so that is just an overview of the functionality. So requirements. So normally requirements is a document which you want to refer. It can be FRD document or BRD document based on the whatever it is. Okay. Based on that, there is a document on that, and you want to refer on that because that document contains various screenshots or the information how to proceed with that. Okay, so that's what it means by requirements. Functionality is anything which is, it can be URL. Okay, URL is google.com, right? URL. It can be, these buttons. This Google said buttons. This is buttons. And as a matter of fact, this is also functionality. Search by voice. You see this? If I click this, I can also search by talking, right? I just say something and it searches for me. Okay. So this is also functionality. So it's pretty much, this is a functionality when so it's everything what you're looking in a web page. Okay. This includes pretty much everything that's called functionality. Okay. So that's what it means by black box testing. Black box testing is high-level testing. Okay, it's done by the testers and not by the programmers. And these tests are based on requirements and functionality. Okay, that's all. Okay, let's go to next. White box testing. So now this is completely opposite, okay, of black box testing. Again, this is a high-level testing. It's done by the programmers and not by the testers. Why? Because you have to know the internal logic of an application code. Okay, good. So here, let's see here. Now, I'm just saying in the developer point of view, so you just, you'll be understanding what's going on. Okay, so here, let's see here. If I want to do white box testing, okay, I'll go to this and see, this is my front end page, right? This is, okay, do better. Okay. You see this? This page is actually the front where the testers will be doing. Okay, all this is called front end, right? This is front end, and all this testing will be done by the testers. Now this is something which is code point of view. This is code. Now you're not touching this code as a tester. Okay, as a tester, you're not doing anything here. This is for your understanding. Okay, so because you'll be working with developers who want to know this, so you have to work. So that's what I'm showing here. Okay, so this is a code. Okay, this all is a code, and this is a job of a developer. Okay, not a tester. Normally, okay. So sometimes they ask you to do even some work here, so that's a different thing. We'll take that as an exception. But normally you are not actually supposed to do anything here. Okay, so let's see what's going on. Okay, now let's see here. This is the code, and I'm trying to do black box testing. Okay, so black box testing high level, that means some part in it I'm trying to do, and I'll be navigating right from all here and try to see, this is something I'm trying to do. So this is called black box testing. I mean, this is not exactly black box testing, but let's say unit testing. I want to do unit testing, I'll be doing from here. Okay, because black box testing is a high level, and you have to know the internal logic of the code, right? That's the reason I showed you. That's the code. Okay, and this is also known as glass box testing. And this covers code statements, branches, paths, and condition, right? We've seen it here, right? This contains pretty much everything. Okay, so it has all the code and statements and loop functions and all those is included here. And this is CSS, cascading style sheet, and you want to make sure how this Google.com looks like. So you want to move this here and there. This image in between corner, it's up to here. Okay, so that's internal logic. That's what it means by internal logic of applications code. Any questions so far in this?
We are not able to get it.
You're not able to get. So which part were you not able to understand?
You're speaking very quick. The voice is very quick.
The voice is low?
And quick also, very quick.
Yeah, the reason I'm being fast because we have less time, okay? And
get it. You are very fast.
Okay. Right. So you know what you'll get it in 1-2 weeks. You'll be trying to you'll be get that one. The thing is, yeah, I'll be also be a little slow here, and also you'll be getting recording. Okay. So if you missed something, or if you are if you didn't understand some part, you can go ahead and look into the recording. So don't worry about it, as such, because you'll be getting recording. But yeah, I'll be a little slow here. Okay. But Of course, I'll be taking some more time.
Could you repeat this black box and white box one more time?
Yeah, what is the question again?
Could you repeat this black box and white box one more time?
Sure. So black box testing is done by the testers, okay? And it's a high level testing, okay? It's a high level testing that is done by the testers, and it's based on requirements and functionality.
Okay.
Okay, so here you're not performing any specific testing here. It's this kind of theoretical point of view. It's just a theoretical. You're not doing any specific kind of testing here. It's just a combination of various testing. It's called black box testing. So that's what it is.
You don't have any example to show the black box testing type.
So that's what I said. It's a theoretical point. You don't have any specific to do because why? Because there's a lot of testings included. System testing, then integration testing, okay, incremental integration, all this combined to form as black box testing. Does it make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
3 to 4 testing. 3 to 4 testings, you combine it, you find this black box. Similarly, white box testing is a high level testing done by the programmers and not by the testers. Why? Because internal logic of an application code. So that's what I showed you, right? This is the internal logic, and they will be doing testing here, in the code, not anywhere else.
Okay.
Yeah, I know this is a bit, background noise, is some noise here. So hopefully that will be only for today. By tomorrow, hope it will not be there. Okay. Any more questions?
No. No.
Okay, let's go to the next. Okay. So let's go to this unit testing. Okay. So now this unit testing is, again done by the programmer. Okay. So typically done by the programmer and not by the testers because it requires internal. Now this is the unit testing. Okay. Now let's go to the example. Okay. So example, right? So unit testing is something which is unit, right? Single. Let's say there's a lot of information here. You see this? Here you go. Here there's a style here. This, this is again has subdivisions here. Okay. So unit testing means any particular unit. They want to go here and see. You know what? Let's take it here. Let's take an example. Google search. Okay, this button. I want to test this button, right? Let's see here where this button belongs. Here I go here, and okay, I go here from. This is what I want to test here. This is unit. You see this? This is highlighted here. So that means I'm testing some specific button here, not whole page, because there's a lot of code here. See this? This is called unit testing. Okay, from particular one unit. That means one particular button. I'm just testing this button, right? And want to see this test this code. Okay, so that's called unit testing. And this is done by the programmers. So that's the reason this code is open to see that the programmers will be working on it. Okay, so let's go. So before going to this incremental, we'll just talk about this functional testing. Okay, so what is functional testing? Here, to test and functionality and features of an application is called functional testing. Okay, to test functionality and features of an application. Okay, great. So just okay, let's close this. You're not developers. Yeah, in here you see this. These are all buttons, right? Okay, these are kind of URLs. Now, if I have to click here, I have to click. If I click here, this goes to the next page. That's good. Okay. Now let's see if I can open a bug in Google. So here's the thing. You have to start opening your defects, right? So let's see if I can go to Okay. Now, here's the thing. When I'm in full mode, this is full screen, right? This is full screen. I can able to see this options, right? But the moment I switch my screen, minimize it, you see this, there's no, but there is, footer is there, header is gone. You see this footer, advertising, business, all this is there. You see this terms, but I don't see my account. No, that's a bug. Now this is a production issue, right? This is a production issue. Why? Because this is happening at google.com server directly. But let's see here. Let's try to figure it out how the bug is actually, okay. So when I stretch a little bit extra, this is showing up. But if that has to happen, that's supposed to happen to this footer also, right? It's not happening. So that's kind of bug. Okay. Okay. So let's not worry about it. Let's take one more example. Let's go to Amazon.com. Okay. Now this is more complicated than Google.com. Okay. Why? Because you see this lot of images here. Now these images are actually integrated with URLs. That means when I click on this, it's going to the next page. See this? All this is the functionality. Okay. So what I mean is all these are features and functionality. Okay. So this is all, there's a lot of features to test, a lot of functionalities, okay, a lot of things here, okay. Now, let me ask you a question, okay.
Yes.
Okay, so now I'm just hovering my mouse, okay. I hover this mouse, okay. I'm not even clicking anything, so don't even require for clicking. I'm just hovering my mouse to department section. Okay, this is the department module, and I'm holding this. Something shows up. Can anyone say what's actually happening here? What is the functionalities and what are the features showing up the moment I hover my mouse?
Interlinks.
Okay, you're getting drop down box. Okay, good. You're getting drop down box so that you're having this option. Okay. Anyone else?
Internal links.
Yeah, so that's what we are trying to do, functional testing here. So yeah, somebody said something I was not able to hear. Yeah, what was that? Okay. That's what we are doing here, functional testing. Okay, this is what functional testing is. Okay, that's what I'm trying to show here. Okay. But my question here is, whenever I hover my mouse over this departments module or departments section, what's happening here? That's what my question is. What's happening? Anyone?
Description.
Is checking whether the drop down is working.
Okay, great. Internal modules, okay. Connect to hyperlinks, okay. Drop down is working, that's good. Anything else? Connect to hyperlinks, okay. That means it is connecting to hyperlink, that's good. I'm looking for an answer that, that's very in front of your eyes. You're not able to see it, so. Yeah, go ahead.
Is it called a link actually?
I'm sorry, what?
Departments is not a link, I guess. When it comes to the order, it's taking to the other page. Doctor, when we click it is taking to the other page. So I just want to know, is this the link or the when we click it is going to the it's a button activation or the link? Button action or the link action? I just want to know.
Okay, so here, this is just holding my mouse, so you don't even have to click on it. So it's not really required. So that's how they made it. Okay, that means it's for convenient for user to not to click on this button, just to hover my mouse. So there's no reason to click anything.
It itself an application?
There is an application. Okay. Okay. So, okay. Lot of questions, lot of answers. Okay, good. So here, what's happening is, so okay, let's get this thing straight. Okay. So here, what happens, right? So the way this is made, that means you won't have to click anything. That means for this you have to click. Okay. Holding the mouse doesn't work, but for this, they made it that you don't even have to click. Just hover your mouse and this drop-down box shows up. Okay. So that's how it is. So you don't have to, worry about clicking this. Okay. Just for user friendly, right? Because if I want to click on it, that might take some time. So what Amazon wants to do is avoiding that time to click it. So that's what they show you the drop down box. Okay, good. Now next, drop down box is showing up. That's good. You can see each and every. So again, this hovering is working here. You don't have to click any specific module here as such. Okay, everything is working by just hovering. Okay, great. Now, what's happening beyond this is, if you notice, the moment I hover my mouse over these departments, the backgrounds, the brightness, see this brightness, right? That is getting dim. Okay, now that's also a feature. That's also functionality.
What is it called?
What is it called? You can say like background brightness is dimmed whenever you hover this mouse. Okay. That's that's a functionality. That's a simple functionality. That might not be there in the document. Okay, that might be there, that might not be there, but it is designed in such a way that one of the reason I can think of for designing is because you want to. So whenever you hover this mouse, you want to concentrate on which you're trying to buy. But if your background brightness is high, then you will not able to see what you're trying to look into it and what you want to buy. So that's one of the reason I could think of for having this background brightness to be dim. Okay, so that's also in functionality here. So somebody asked, right, can you give an example of unit testing and black box testing in this page? Again, let's get back to black box testing. Black box testing is high level testing. Okay, that's so many testings included into that is called black box testing. So as of such, you really don't have this example on this, how to do this, but this is an example for functional testing. Okay, this is functional where you test each and every functionality, including this, images with this. See that it is navigating to the correct page. These buttons are working on it. These screenshots are working. So this is called functional testing. Okay. And unit testing, it's again, it's a job of a developer. You see here, you want to go this developer page and you want to see some specific unit here, okay, and see what you're trying to do. Let's say you want to see this watch. In that case, you want to test this. So you want to go here and see is this particular code is good or not. That's called unit testing. Okay. Yeah, that's the job of a programmer, not tester. So technically, testers don't worry about it. Okay. And somebody asked, when do we just do this testing? Most of the time. Actually, whenever you get this application, or when even this is so I'm giving an example of web application here. You can get client application too. Client application is something which is installed in your system. Okay, so like Outlook. Outlook is a client application. That means it's installed in your system. This is a web application. Okay, now it's every time. Whenever you get something to test, you have to do functional testing. Is a basic, so very basic, and you have to do almost in every application. As a tester, you have to do functional testing in almost every application. Does it make sense?
Yes.
Any more questions?
Not really.
Okay, so let's go to next. Okay, so this was the example of functional testing. Okay, to test functionality and features of an application is called functional testing. Okay, and how do you test it? So this is how you start, right? You have to go see, if you want to test, you have to go each and every module and each and every URLs. Let's say here this watch. Let's say if you want to see this quick look button is working or not, you want to click on this and see. Okay, great, this is working. Okay, this functionality is good. Now you want to see for another, is it working? So each and everything has to be done in detail. Okay, that's what you have to do in functional testing. Okay, so
as long as we are doing manual testing, we need not to bother about the unit testing. When we are going to do the automation testing, we have to do the unit testing, right?
now automation, if you are doing, see, nothing to do with unit and automation testing. Unit testing is completely done by the programmer. Okay, and here, as a QA point of view, let's not even worry about automation for now. Okay, we'll talk about later. Automation, even if you are in automation, you will be worrying about testing perspective as per your testing, not by developing perspective. So automation and unit testing is completely different altogether.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, as a tester, you will not be working on this unit testing. Okay. Okay, let's do pretty quick. We have less time. We are lagging behind. Okay, so let's go to. Okay, let's talk about this integration testing. Okay. So now let's take an example here. Integration testing. Okay, so here what happens, right? All these modules, all these functionalities are integrated into one. Okay, and because of that integration, you want to make sure that other code is not broken, right? Other application is working fine or not. So that's called integration testing. Okay, let's take an example here. So let's not worry on this. Okay, so here what I'll show you is an example. Let's say I want to click on Google Apps, right? It's Google Apps, and if I click here, you see this. There's a bunch of new apps are shown up, right? 11 apps, right? This is the integration. That means, okay, there are YouTube people who are working on it, YouTube developers, Drive developers, Gmail developers. Okay, a lot of people working on those, and those guys have integrated that particular module into this, and you see this is an integrated app, right? Because you can access many applications right here, right? Right here you can access many applications. That's called integration. To test this is called integration testing. Right? See, here's the thing. Not one or two people will be working on it. There are so many people who will be working on it. Okay? And, so here's the thing. What you do exactly in the integration testing is you want to see this application is working after integration. Let's say they have integrated, developer has integrated one module here, okay, this module. You want to see that module is working and also this module is working, two modules, because you want to make sure that because addition of that module doesn't break the code, okay? The two code should be good. If anything happens, the testers are going to get caught because you didn't do integration testing. Okay, so let's get back to definition here. This would make more sense now. Testing of integrated modules to verify combined functionality after integration. It's called integration testing.
Can we test two modules at a time?
No, you cannot do parallel testing. No, there is nothing like parallel. You have to do one after the other. So once you have done with this module, then you have to go back, document it. Now you have to do the next, okay? So that's how you have to do one after the other.
If we are testing one module in this, the other will be affected?
Oh, that's a very good question. Yes, that could be a possibility of, because let's say they have integrated, first they integrated one module, right? Because they integrated another module, because of this, these two modules might be getting affected. That's good. That's a good question. Yes, that might happen. So in that case, you want to check all of this one after the other.
Okay.
Right? That's good question actually, because if you are adding more apps, there will be more bugs, because you don't want to miss those. Okay, you want to see each and every module, check that this application is working, that application is working, and see this has no bugs here. Okay, when I'm clicking here, it's coming showing up. That's good. So this is all should be tested. That's the situation.
Okay.
Okay. And okay, so let's go to another incremental integration testing. Okay, so the name itself, right? Incremental. That means you keep on increasing and keep on testing. Okay, that's called incremental integration testing. Okay, let's take an example here. So now here you see this 11 apps, right? Okay, now there. Okay, great. Now they added more apps here. Okay, more 12 apps. Now you see this there. Now it has combined more apps here. So this is incremental. That means they have increased from 11 to more. Okay. Now there's one more called even more. So here you go. This is a different page altogether. Here you find all this integrated modules right here. Okay. Now here you can see you have to test each and every module to see this is working or not. Okay. You have these two options here. This images doesn't have URL. That's good. Not like Amazon. Amazon has this integrated URL, so this doesn't. So that's good. Only option you have is learn more option and support option. So you can click. So this is incremental integration. That means they keep on adding it, you keep on testing it. Okay, that's incremental. Okay. You see here, they have a lot of apps in one page, right? And they keep on adding it, right? This YouTube DVD, they want to add more. Okay, that's called incremental integration testing. Okay, so here bottom-up approach for testing, continuous testing an application as the new functionality is being added is called incremental testing. And this can be done by programmers and testers. Yes, but for a front-end perspective, most of the time it will be testers because it's front-end, right? But as a developer perspective, of course, they'll not worry about just front-end anything, something. They will be worrying about this code. How is this code is, all these things. This is a developer job. It's not here. This is testers. Okay, so that's how it is. Any questions so far? Okay.
How did we do the bottom-up approach in continuous integration?
So okay, that's a good catch. What do you mean by bottom-up approach? So here, actually this is not supposed to be there here actually. That's right. For to better understanding, you take it as continuous testing of an application. In fact, that should be enough. So the reason this is there, right? This is because you have these two types, right? Bottom-up approach and top-down approach, right? There are two approaches which is actually there in the data warehouse concept, and that's how it actually comes here. But that's a good thing actually. So it's really not required here actually. Okay, this doesn't belong here. But for the ease of understanding, right? This would be better option. continuous testing of an application as a new functionality is being added. Okay, that's a good catch. You know, after a long time somebody got a good. So this is good.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'll make sure I'll remove this one actually. So because for now, for understanding, you really don't require this. But moving forward, if you're if you really know how this is designed, in the architect level, you're going into the architect level, right? You know how it's designed, so that's how this comes into bottom up approach and top down approach. Okay, so all this comes in the architect point of view. But for now, it's really not required. So somebody asked a question, right? What is the difference between integration testing and incremental integration testing? Integration testing is, let's say, only 6 apps. You have this. You have to perform integration testing in this. That's integration testing. That is done. But incremental testing is continuous testing. Okay, that means they keep on adding in new apps. You keep on testing it. They keep on adding more. You keep on testing it. So that's the difference. Okay.
If there are no continuous apps, then there won't be any incremental integration testing.
That's right. If you don't keep on adding apps, there will be no more incremental integration testing.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go to the next. Any more questions? That's good. You have to come up with questions. That's good. Now you have to make it interactive. Okay. That's good that you got questions. Okay. But I'll be taking more 15 minutes. Is it okay to everyone? Because we are running a little behind. And I know you guys have one more class, I guess, right? 12 p.m. So just if people are not able to attend, we'll just record it and you can view it later. Okay. 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 So there's and the system testing. Okay. So let's go to the next one. System testing. This is entire system is tested as per the requirement. Okay. Now here we are really talking about client applications. Okay. So far we were looking this. You see this? This is a web application. Because what is exactly this web application means? Whatever you are trying to navigate, what you are trying to do through web browser, like Google Chrome or Firefox or Safari or whatever browser you are using, that's called web application. Okay, all these are web applications. Now the client application is something which is installed in your system. Okay, that means to perform any testing, you need to install that. It's called so here system testing means that's what it means. So you have to install that particular application, particular software into your system and then test that. Okay, so that's called system testing. Okay, so your entire system is tested as per the requirement. So here even this says the entire system, you're not really performing entire system. It's based on the requirements. What does the requirement say? Okay, if requirement say few files, so that means you have to test for the few files, the entire software. Okay, that doesn't mean entire system, because entire system is pretty huge, right? See here, there are system files, there is different applications, so it will be more into application specific. Which application you want to test entirely? Okay, that's what it means by okay. Entire system is tested as per the requirement. So what does the requirement says? Based on that, you have to test it. That's the system testing. And so black box, so again I told you, right? Black box is included. I'm sorry, system test is included in the black box. Okay. So there's no. Black box is kind of theoretical, there's nothing like, we do black box testing means it covers 2 to 3 testings, okay? Functional testing, system testing, integration testing, then you say this black box testing is done, okay? You cannot say just to do black box, okay? Okay, let's go to the next, end-to-end testing, okay? So here we'll keep it simple as a QA perspective. End-to-end testing is from one end to the other end, okay? So what is from one end to another end? So it starts from smoke testing, sanity testing, functional testing, okay, performance testing, and all this is covered, all the testing, then you call as end-to-end testing. So that means it involves complete testing what you're trying to do for an application. Okay, that means for one end to other end. So here they also said this database interaction. So now this becomes complicated when you're doing ETL testing. Okay, so when you're doing ETL testing, end-to-end testing is much more than that, because there is a source. Okay, you want to do source testing, you want to do the staging testing, target testing. Again, you have this UI perspective. You want to do that UI, that's called QA. You have to do all this testing. And then there's a jobs, backend. You run this jobs, right? That's called, again, jobs testing. You want to do a lot of things there. Okay, so that's what you call as end-to-end testing. But we'll keep it simple. As a QA perspective, end-to-end testing means from one end to the other end. Okay, starts from smoke testing, sanity testing, functional testing, so on. Okay. Any questions? Okay, so
end-to-end means we are going to perform all types of testings on this.
I'm sorry, what was your question again?
In end-to-end testing, we perform all the testing techniques.
That's right. I mean, that is
Each and everything.
Yes, it's actually the way it works is depends on project. See, some project requires some kind of testing, some don't. Okay, in that case, you really don't do that testing because it is not required. That's not project specific. Okay, so
It's like based on requirements.
Exactly.
Depends.
The requirements and
Okay.
project, how the project is working on, what kind of project is this? Based on that, you actually perform on the system. Okay.
Okay.
Difference between system testing and end-to-end testing?
I'm sorry, what's the question? System testing and end-to-end testing? We are saying, what's the difference?
The major difference.
Right. So, yeah, system testing is more for a client applications. Okay, it's really not for web applications. But end-to-end testing, it's it's end-to-end from one end to another. This can include system testing, but it's not necessary. It's only the system testing. It's all that's the difference. Okay, I mean there's kind of not really different. These two are different thing altogether. Okay, but end-to-end testing means completely covers all this testing. But in system testing, only client application, only client, no application.
Sorry?
System
So
testing.
sometimes your voice is getting low. I'm not able to get the words in between. Sometimes it's going low and high.
Yeah, you mix two words.
So I didn't, for this thing, I was missing something. I couldn't understand actually. In between these two, you're saying, but few words I'm missing and I was not able to understand. Can you please repeat?
Yes.
Sorry for that.
Yeah, actually, it's back on Mac. It's not a disturbance going on. So, okay, sure. So, system testing is, it's for the entire system. That means it's a client application. What you're trying to test is the client application. But end-to-end testing is something from one end to the other end. That means it may involve client application. It can also involve web application and so on. Okay, it's not really specific to any system or application. It's independent of the application. Okay, thanks.
It's not. Hello? Mitra?
So here, it's kind of.
Hello?
Yeah, any questions to me?
Yeah, we are not able to hear your voice.
We are really sorry for that. For the end to end, your voice is totally missing out. Totally.
If you speak slowly, word to word, it will be audible, right?
End to end only. System, I got it. It is for the client-based applications only, not for the web applications. So end to end, your words are, and we are not able to, get it actually. It's very, very slow.
Actually, what is client-based application?
Okay. end-to-end testing means from one end to other end. Okay, that means it's independent of any applications.
Independent of any application, end to end, right? You are saying?
Right. So that means it don't have to any specific implication, specific application, web application or client application, nothing to do with that. It covers all the testing. Okay, nothing to do with any application. But in system testing, you are actually looking more into client applications.
Okay.
Okay. Here, it's nothing to do with any client application.
Client or web application, right? End to end could be.
Yeah, it could be anything. In end-to-end, it could be anything. It could be include both too. Might include both too.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So let's go to here. Okay, before going to sanity testing, wanted to let's be. So I'll take like 15 minutes. Okay.
Okay.
So okay, before going to sanity testing, there's something called smoke testing. Okay, smoke testing is like kind of random testing. Okay. Let's see here. Let's take an example for the smoke testing. Okay, smoke testing is like, whenever the application is ready, okay, you want to see pretty quick here. Okay, so it's kind of functional testing, but the difference between the functional testing and smoke testing is functional testing has test cases, smoke testing doesn't. Okay, and smoke testing you're completing in less than 2 hours. Max 2 hours. You don't even require that much. 1 hour is more than enough. Okay. Functional testing, you're taking some time to execute your test cases. Okay, that's the major difference. Okay, so smoke testing is an application testable or not? That means, okay, when the developer has given some, application to test, you want to make sure you can move forward with it. That means function testing, integration testing, incremental. You can do all this testing. Okay, that means you have to perform smoke testing. Okay, if the smoke testing is failed, that means you cannot perform other testings. Why? Because you cannot move forward if the smoke testing is failed, because the application is really not testable. Okay, so that's called smoke testing. Smoke testing is that application really testable or not? So what you exactly do here is you do some random testing. That's good. Yeah, smoke testing to test a major functionality. That could be. Okay, it could be. You can test some major functionalities and see if it is working or not, and you can move forward with this.
Before doing any testing, we need to do smoke testing for that.
Exactly. Before doing any other testing, you want to do this smoke testing. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. But again, just make sure, keep in mind that it's based on the project. Not all projects have all this. Not necessary you'll be doing all this testing in one project. It's really not required, but it's based on the project. If it is required in some projects, it might require all of them. So you have to do all of them. Okay. So that's how it is. Okay. So actually, before going smoke testing, I wanted to explain something, but you know what? Let's explain now. So here's the thing. There are 3 types of environments. Okay. There are 3 types of environment. That is QA environment. I'm sorry, dev environment. That is development environment. Whenever this coding is done, all this coding thing, right, is done in dev environment. Now there is a QA environment. That means all testing, what you're trying to do, all this testing is done with a QA environment. Okay. Then another thing is production environment. Okay. Whatever you're trying to do here, see this google.com, there's a production. Okay. Production database or whatever you're trying to access, all this is in production. So there's 3 types of major 3. And you can have a number of based on the project, but 3 is major. Okay. Dev environment, QA environment, and test environment or QA. Or production environment. 3 major environments. Okay, so what exactly is this environment? If you don't get what is the environment is, you can take it as server. Okay, what is different server? 3 different servers. Okay, that's how. Okay, so that's 3 different. And whenever you, let's say you're performing some operation like some smoke testing. Let's say you're trying to do some smoke testing. That means the code from the dev environment has been moved to test environment, only then you can perform that. You cannot perform in dev environment. You don't do normally. Okay. So now if that smoke testing is failed, right? If the smoke testing is failed, then you have to report to the developer, hey, you know what? The smoke testing is failed. And we are getting a lot of bugs here. What to do? So now then developer will take it. Okay, you know what? Give me some time. It's like 2 hours. There will be next build. Now in the next build, it's going into it, so you can test by 3 hours. In 3 hours, that means you open this issue on 10 o'clock. That means 2 o'clock it will be ready for you. This in Agile, if you're working this pretty fast. Every 3 hours there's a new build. Okay, what is this build exactly? That means you have to move that code, right? Whatever the code from dev environment, you're moving into test environment. So that requires some third guy who is called middleware team. They'll be working with them and moving that code. That's how it is. Okay, so that's about the environments, and let's go to pretty quick here. Sanity testing. Any questions in that? Any questions in this? So either way, it will be having 3 environments, major 3. Dev environment, you're not really testing in dev environment unless it's told by the lead. Test environment, this is where you'll be working on. All the code has to be moved into test before you start testing. You cannot start testing before moving the code, so not possible. Then production environment. Production environment, you're not doing any testing. Nobody has access for this, not dev, not testers. The production team is completely different, and there will be no communication to the production team. Okay. So let's go here. Sanity testing. So sanity testing is kind of it's a same application, different version. Okay. Let's say, so what's a different version, right? As I told you, right, if there's some bugs are fixed or some new features are added, they will release a different version, but the same application. That means those bugs are fixed and new features have been added. Now that becomes a different version altogether. Okay. Now that's released into test. You start testing, then it is moved into production. Okay. So once the bugs are fixed, that becomes a different version. So that's called sanity testing. You want to test that? So that's called sanity testing. Okay. Testing to determine if a new software version is performing well to accept for a major testing effort. Okay. Okay. So let's go to next one pretty quick here. So regression testing.
Difference between smoke and sanity.
I'm sorry, what?
Difference between smoke and sanity testing.
Okay. Smoke testing is you want to see the application is testable or not. That means you cannot move forward with other testing. No, not even sanity. Okay, you're not able to do anything here. Smoke testing, if it's failed, then it's failed. You want to give the developer and say that, hey, you know what? This has failed to move forward. We cannot move forward because smoke testing is failed. Okay, that's smoke testing. Sanity testing is a different version. This is independent to each other, nothing to do with it. But this is a different version. Okay, different version of the same application you're trying to test is called sanity testing. Does it make sense?
You need to do this for every software version when it is improvised or something.
If the project says yes, then you have to do it. But as of now, I have never done my 5 years of career. I've not specifically done any sanity. But if the project is designed that way, you have to do yes.
Okay.
Okay, for every new version, you have to do it. Okay. Any more questions? Okay. Move to the next one. Regression testing. Now let's say, anyone have any questions?
So sanity comes in the picture when it is in the different version or something matters, right?
Right. So okay.
We'll do that.
Right. So let me give an example. Sanity comes. Let's say you have opened too many bugs. Okay. Now you are doing functional testing, right? Now you have opened too many bugs, and what they did, what the business did. Now these are so many bugs. You know what? We fix this bug and add some more features on that, and they released a new version. Now there it comes a sanity test. You want to test that because the same application, what you tested before, but now it's been fixed and with new features.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Any more questions? Okay. We move here pretty quick. And okay, so regression testing. Okay. So here, testing application whole is a modification in whole modules or functionality. So after integration testing, let's say you want to perform like incremental integration testing, and you have to do this regression testing. Okay, so before that, let me ask you a question. Okay, so let me ask you a question. Okay, now let's say you have completed all your testing, right? You have completed everything, all is done. Functional testing, integration testing, you have done all. Sanity testing, you are good. You're almost end of the project. End of your QA sign off. Okay, and let's say your developer who you're working with, he did some changes there. Okay, he did changes and he suddenly stops at your desk. Okay, he stops at your desk and says, hey, you know what, I changed something in the code, but you know what, can you start testing again? Okay, a developer comes to your desk and says this, that I've changed the code because there was some issue in the code, not front end point of view, but it's some code and we fixed it, but can you start at desk? So my question to you guys is, what's your response?
We will ask them to mail with looping the manager and the TL in it.
That's a very good answer. Okay. Anyone else? That's good.
Can I get the question one more time? Actually, your voice is breaking for me.
Okay. So my question is, let's say developer. Okay. He did something. Okay. He did some changes in the code. Okay. He did changes some in the code, and he stopped at your desk. Okay. He stopped at your desk and says, hey, you know what? We made some changes in the code because there were some issues in the code. And can you start testing again? So my question here is, what's your response on this? Because he stopped at your desk and is asking you to start testing again.
We can know what's the changes made, and we can do the proper testing for that. What else? What is required? We can do only that.
Okay. Okay. Anyone else?
Since they have changed one function, that may affect another one too. So we have to test that also.
Okay. Okay. Anyone else? Okay, good.
Maybe we can do end-to-end testing.
Okay. Okay, great. So, okay. So here's the thing. Now, developer is not your boss. Your boss is your manager who is actually, is giving you work. Okay. So you're not taking orders from your developer. Okay. Just because developer showed up in your desk and said to do this, you can't do that. Okay. Somebody answered that, send me an email looping my boss here and your boss, and that's a good response. Because you cannot do something which is already, see, here's the thing, you cannot do double testing. Okay, you need to check with your lead. First thing is, you have to talk the lead hey, if that guy showed up on your desk and says, hey, you know what, do this testing. So, you know what, let's start with the lead. Lead is available, he's right here, let's start with it. Okay, that's how you want to do. Okay, you want to start by the lead and says, technically you cannot do, because you have invested 1 week of time. Let's say it takes 1 week, and in 3 days, let's say next week, it's going into production. Okay, if you are going into production, we don't have enough resources, we don't have enough time to test. Okay, we don't have all this time. Okay, and next week it's supposed to go into production, and this customer has been waiting for a long time, and you cannot do mistakes at this point of time. Okay. So you always, first point of contact is your lead. Okay, and remember this, you are not taking orders from developer. Okay, even the developer says that's good, that's a good response, that loop your manager, my manager, we'll go from there. That's a good response. because what my boss has to say on this, it depends, right? Because how much time this business been allocating time for this and how much time you're spending is all up to the business. So that's how it should work. Okay. First point of contact is your lead. Definitely, you have to work with your lead. You cannot bypass your lead. Talk with the lead. If the lead is not available or he's in vacation or something, yes, you have to look with your manager and you have to work from there. Okay. So, what response would be there? Even the manager or your lead will be, we'll go for regression testing. So they'll say, why not do this regression testing? We have done this. Okay, we have completed all our testing. We cannot move with this. We cannot do double testing. Okay, because we have invested a lot of time. We don't have resources. We don't have enough testers. We don't have enough time, and we'll do this in regression testing. Okay, now developer is happy. We are happy. Okay. And so if, at that point of time, if there is any issues, the automation people know this is automation. So regression testing is an automation. That means they'll be using tool like UFT, okay, or Selenium. You automate all the test cases, what you have done. The same thing actually. What you have done in manual, here you are doing automation. That means all the scripts have been automated. No more manual. Just click this run button and this whole script will be running for you. Whatever the application you're navigating, all this will be, automated. And that could be running through regression testing. So that's called regression testing. No more manual in regression, normally. I'm not seeing companies using manual in regression, but regression is completely automation. Does it make sense? Okay. So remember one thing, if some random guy has told you to do the work, you're not going to do the work. Okay, you have to talk to your lead. First, talk to your lead. Okay, just talk to your lead, saying that, hey, what, take the developer. Okay, what, here, what, the lead is available. Let's talk to him. Now, let's see what happens. Okay, you have to talk to him, and if lead is not available, of course, you need to talk to your boss and see how you want to proceed it. Okay, because the less amount of time you cannot do, because everything has time limits. Okay, you have to complete in 1 week. That means it has to be done in 1 week. If somebody says something and do this, no, cannot happen unless your boss approval. You have to get from your approval from your boss. Without your boss approval, you cannot do anything. Right? You have to work what is there. Okay. Any more questions? So we'll stop here. Now we have taken a lot of time. This class is also there for you. We'll stop. Okay. If no questions, can we close this class for today?
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, guys.